Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Saucy McBoodlefist, and today we are playing The Letter. In the last one, we were worried about our friends, we tried to call them, and they didn't answer, so we went into Isabella's apartment to look around. And let's get started. Despite all the packing we did the other day, her room's still a mess of the things she's accumulated over the years. Papers, instant noodle cups, a few photographs, and posters we never got to include in the boxes for shipment. No matter where you look at this, the place still simply has Isabella written in it. Just 5 years and she's left a big mark on our lives. I'd be lying if I said her presence didn't change a lot of things. In Zach, in Rebecca, in me. However, there's no time to reminisce about all this. As nice and nostalgic as those memories are, there's work to do, things to find, if there's even any out there, or in here. I won't know that by simply standing here, acting nostalgic. Wasting no time, I head straight for her study table, where a chaos of papers and folders clutter the top. There are instant noodle cups still, plus a few empty pens and crumpled paper littering the table. All points of interest in the room, but my focus veers on the laptop first. No malice intended, I'm simply looking for work files. Besides, I doubt she has anything to hide, and whoa, porn! Just kidding. And if it still means anything, that's exactly why Isabella has always worn her heart on her sleeve. Genuine, uninhibited, open, free. While it often has gotten her into all sorts of trouble, her candidness, that wholehearted look she has always displayed and carried with her, are things I will never have a reason to doubt. Others will say it's her warmth that draws people to her, or her cheer. Neither are wrong, but neither is the whole truth either. Besides, those who have never bothered to look beyond the surface will never see it. See her. See someone earnest. See someone who has always meant well, albeit her underlying stubbornness. See how she loves. An affection that is altogether both warm, steadfast, and unflinching. In many ways, for a lot of reasons, she's the kind of person I want to be around with. Who made me feel like I am worth something. See, I always knew he had a crush on Isabella. You never meet people like that. Not in my line of work. Always with something to hide. Always with something to lie about. Eventually, when you meet too many of them, you change too. You become like them. Perhaps the biggest thing I regret about this is I never had a chance to change that before The laptop finally boots up and loads the operating system, although as soon as it does, I am greeted by her password screen. For a few minutes I tried my hand at a couple of obvious ones that she might use. 1 2 3 4 5 6 0 0 0 0 0 Password 1 QWERTY Admin Cinnamon rolls. None of it works.
At least she knows how to use the most common ones.
This adds a new layer of problem, though knowing her, she must have written it somewhere. Not in the mess of papers here, but someplace that she can quickly check. It's probably something she'll bring with her, not necessarily a diary, but close to one. I've noticed one on her person several times before. Never saw its contents, but I've seen her write regularly on them while waiting for a meal in a restaurant or during lulls in a conversation. I just hope she's left where she's written her password somewhere here. It's the drawers I start with, from the bottom one. It takes a while going through the pile in each of the 3 layers, the bottom 2 yielding nothing but old records she's been keeping. The 3rd one, though, yields one closer to what I'm looking for. All of the pages have already been filled.
Probably why she dumped it here.
Carefully flipping through each one reveals notes from the meeting with the client. Sometimes there are doodles on the edges of the pages, others taking up the entire spread. All old ones and nothing of use for me right now, but on the last page, on a sheet folded in half, opening it reveals a doodle of the three of us, Zach, Rebecca, and me, from how we looked 4 or 5 years ago, give or take. At the bottom, the words scrawled in a neat script after a few telling erasers. 707 Devlin, 2011. Despite myself and how dismal everything is going at present, a laughter slips from my lips, uninhibited and without care for who might hear. 707 Devlin Court. I remember handling that case from 5 years ago. Even got a recommendation from Inspector Abigail and a promotion to Detective Sergeant after wrapping it up. Some morbid case of a dead husband being stuffed into a sofa by his own wife, and at the heart of it, Isabella. Fresh off the boat, selling the first property assigned to her. Some sick sense of humor the universe must have, huh? Though, in hindsight, if all this shit didn't happen, the four of us wouldn't be together. And I wouldn't have met her. Yet, in the end, I can't even tell her. Instead, choosing to hide behind teasing words and friendly jokes because I'm a coward who can't even convey his feelings properly. Who can't even face the person he's become. Now, there's only regret.
A badge, a gun, and I can't even protect my own friends.
To other people, these may just be a series of letters, but to us, to the people pictured on the page, they mean a whole different thing. Apparently, it also means a great deal to her, one sentiment that goes far beyond some sense of nostalgia. Enough to use it as a password for her own laptop. True enough, it works, and as soon as I have access to all of her work files, nothing significant though. Nothing I haven't already found last night. Perhaps the most noteworthy out of everything is the log she's left, that night. She has taken note of every client who attended the open house and worked on the mansion, even the outside contractors. Although for what purpose, I have no idea. Should I have also looked into those last night? They didn't seem important though. If anything, I'll get more looking into the deaths of those employees than some random people. Adding these clients to my list will only broaden my scope. But what if Isabella's onto something here, like with the letter? Shit. There's no more room for regret, however. All of a sudden, my ringtone breaks the moment and my attention shifts towards the source. Before I can even wallow in my mistakes, I hastily put everything back together, turn off Isabella's laptop, and leave the room to answer the phone. Hopefully there will be some good news this time. Unrelated frustrations aside, once I step out of the room and accept the call, the stone that has been stuck in my stomach simultaneously lodges itself up in my throat. The person on the other side of the line isn't who I'm expecting.
It's Officer Renz over at the precinct. You know, you bring me donuts to keep an eye out for you and shit.
Oh, yeah, right, Renz, what's up? You've, never called me through this line before. Is this something urgent?
Yeah, kinda. Something came up this morning. You know the big guy? Your, buddy? Big guy. Around 6 feet tall.
Zach?
I don't feel too good about this.
Yeah, him. Zachary Steele, I think.
What about him?
He's been detained and...
Wait, what?
What do you mean he's been detained?
I'm glad they're finally getting to this part of the story, because it's like Zach went to jail and then it's like we hadn't heard a word about it since.
They brought them in this morning.
That's not what I asked. What are the charges?
I don't know. Not my division. I'm not really supposed to be on the phone right now, but I thought you ought to know. Anyway, I gotta go. If you want to see him, just drop by. Not sure how that'll work, though. The chief has a standing order not to let you into the precinct until Monday.
Yeah. Thanks for the heads up. I'll bring you some coffee to go with those donuts, too, next time.
The call ends with a click while I'm left here reeling, staring blankly at my phone.
What the hell did you do, Zach?
Still no word on Rebecca either. Looks like a trip to the precinct is in order today. I might as well make sure the big guy is okay. What other choice do I have? Sighing, I lock the door to Isabel's apartment, and within 5, I'm on my way to LPD. At least I know where Zach is now. That explains why he's not answering his phone. But how did he get himself into this mess? He said he had a plan that might help, but if it got him in enough trouble to get himself in a cell, I don't think I like this plan of his. And hell yeah, I'm mad. I'm absolutely furious. I doubt Zach will get himself arrested because of an actual crime. But whatever stupid stunt he pulled to get there isn't any better. The only good thing so far is the fact that the streets are nearly empty so early on a Sunday morning. Very few pedestrians and virtually no other car is on the road to get in the way of me rushing to the precinct. Within the speed limit, of course. A whirlwind of activity welcomes me as soon as I waltz into LPD HQ. Fellow officers running here and there, pushing around the paperwork and answering calls. It's almost Halloween and troublemakers are abound. Calls about pranks gone wrong make up most of this time of year, along with the occasional altercation or missing dog. Some of the other officers who work with me look up from their desks and wave, though none of them moves me to stop what I'm expecting. Standing order my ass, it probably didn't last the whole day. Although I'd like to have a chat with them sooner or later about official matters, I'm not here for them right now. Of course, it never hurts to see what they have for me, and the best person to ask for details in the precinct is the guy behind the booking window. He glances up at me when I approach, then immediately returns to his task, indifferent. Not that I need his full attention. As long as he talks, I'm good.
Hey, I heard there's a new guy in the holding cells.
Not many here know Zach, and if they've seen him, they don't pay too much attention. I try to keep my work and personal life as far away from each other as I possibly can. Each one of them is quick to chat, gossip, be the one to talk about the new detainee and have everyone's attention.
News flies fast, huh? They just brought him in this morning.
Any info on him?
Got his ass handed by some rich bloke's bodyguard. Or butler, whatever. When we got to the scene, he's already been strung up and ready for pickup. Hard to imagine how a guy like him could have been taken down, but the butler has this creepy air to him. I'd rather not ask.
The butler is the killer!
Feel sorry for the bloke, he could have fought back.
But I know Zach wouldn't hurt a fly. He's not the kind of person, and knowing that he might be in a bad state, whatever little anger I've built up for him on the way has dissolved into thin air.
Has he been booked yet?
Nope, still sleeping. Creepy butler probably hit him hard.
Which is a good thing. If they slip up and forget, we might get rid of habeas corpus and take him out of there, depending on what he's actually being charged with. But at the same time, it's bad. How long is he going to be unconscious? I'll be worried about serious injury if he's out cold for too long. Whoever hurt him has a lot of explaining to do. To me.
What's he in for then? It must have been something if we got a rich fat cat involved.
Your friend was caught on right property, and you better believe I'm not happy about this. Not one bit.
I want to say that there must be some sort of misunderstanding. Zach isn't the type to do such a thing, unless it was his plan all along. In that case, I couldn't just charge blindly into this without all the details, no matter how much I want to believe my friend's innocence. And Wright? Luke Wright? What on earth was Zach thinking? In any case, it doesn't look like the chief is happy, even if I don't protest and give him a salute. Not pleased at all with the fact that he grabs me and pulls me aside and is any indication. If I were to describe his expression, he looks ready to kill me.
I swear, Frey, if you're behind this, if you told Steele to sort the rights because you were taken off the case,
I'm not stupid enough to ignore chain of command and go against official orders. Give me some credit, Chief.
And you better be sure you didn't. Luke Wright is coming here, and we both know he's trouble. I'd consider your friend lucky if he only gets charges put against him. Maybe if we can make sure he's in a good mood, he won't escalate the situation. Hell, maybe we'll have a bloody miracle and Steele only gets a slap on the wrist, but Lord knows it's unlikely with that man.
You know him well, Chief.
An observation, not an accusation. But it might as well be with how things have panned out from the night of the housewarming party to the morning that followed. His wife's familiar with them, too. Who's to say that friendship hasn't colored the investigation into Luke Wright? I don't want to accuse my superior, but damn it, he makes it difficult.
Of course I do, shouldn't you? You've been looking into the guy for so long. I'd call you a bad detective if you can't even tell me whether he's right or left-handed.
That's an easy one. He's left-handed, but he's been taught to use his right. You can tell when he picks something up with his left hand, but when he realizes that, he moves it to the right.
Well, at least I don't have to question your ability. Anyway, if I were you, I'd either go and make myself scarce or sit down and shut up. Don't go aggravating people, basically, because you have a knack for that at the worst of times.
As much as I hate to say it, but he's right. It's better to keep my mouth shut and not make things worse for Zach. There's not much to do now but hope for the best. They don't call for an investigation when it comes to petty felonies. Worst case scenario, he's looking at a fine worth £5,000 and 6 months of jail. Best case scenario, we get these charges bumped down to trespassing, a misdemeanor, and a juvenile offense, and he'll be given probation and will be charged for restitution. At this point, those seem to be the most likely outcome. I don't see how he could have been framed for breaking and entering, unless he was taken into somebody's property against his will. Even in my head, that sounds unlikely.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I think I'm a delight to be around.
Tell that to my blood pressure pills. Anyway, let me handle him, alright?
Right on cue, the moment Chief says that, you know who arrives. And like the arrogant show-off that he is, he makes sure his arrival is well noticed by everyone within the immediate vicinity. The guy ignores the front desk even when Benjamin tries to greet him. He just blows past him, walks in all high and mighty as if he owns the place. Meanwhile, that creepy butler of his trails behind him like a tame dog on its leash. It doesn't help either that the other officers stop whatever it is that they're doing and stare. Whether it's out of suspicion, curiosity, or judging by some of their starstruck looks, awe. They should quit it, get back to work, and stop giving the man the attention he's obviously seeking.
I'm here to report a crime.
Of course, why else would you be here? You're either reporting something or being put behind bars, you imbecile. I'm going to...
Calm down, Ashton. No need to rile myself up. I need to calm down, not for him, not for myself, but for Zach. It's already difficult holding back when his face looks like it could use a good right hook. Better to just let the Chief handle him. Sure enough, he's the first to walk up to him, bearing a smile way too friendly for comfort. Looking at them like this makes me sick to my stomach. It's easy to know there's something up underneath the guise of keeping up appearances.
I'll be happy to assist you with that, Mr. Wright. You'll have to issue your statements as victim and witness. We'll have to determine probable cause and properly file a criminal complaint. Of course, you understand.
Oh, I understand, though I don't see why you can't file that thing yourself. The cause is obvious, isn't it? He was breaking into my home in order to pilfer my belongings.
Well, we'll still need that police report. The prosecutor will be the one to determine what charges you can legally file against the accused.
Reports and prosecutors. Why should we law-abiding citizens suffer through all that? Thugs like him should be kept off the streets. I mean, it's so obvious who these people are. You can practically spot them.
Wait, hold up. Is this guy for real? Can he hear himself? He's not saying what I think he's saying, I hope.
We come here to our country, take advantage of our wealth and generosity, while we proper Brits work hard and pay our taxes. All the while they break our laws and ruin our civilized community. Trash like these should be kept contained. These uneducated...
Now, Mr. Wright. I know you're upset about what happened, but perhaps we should move to my office.
Of course. The sooner we can deal with the petty criminal, the better.
Didn't Luke fuck this guy's wife? Why is this guy acting like so cool with them? Like, he seriously... The chief's wife is accusing Luke of getting her pregnant. Like, did he just miss that, or... I can't believe the audacity of this guy. Did he really think better of himself just because he was born rich?
I swear they should just ship these peasants back to where they came from. They're all criminals. It can't be helped. It's in their genes.
Despite myself, in spite of every restraint I've placed on me, upon hearing those words, I can't help but open my mouth. Chief's warning be damned. This is my friend he's fucking shitting on. Call him out.
They're all criminals? It's in their genes? Come here and say that to my face, you bastard!
I realized my mistake only after the words had tumbled out of my mouth. True, I shouldn't have put myself out on the spotlight like that. But this guy? This fucking guy?
Oh, and who is this loud young man?
Should have kept my mouth shut. He glances at me like I'm a flea, a pest, but it's more disgusting how everyone here can't even see how rotten he is.
Frey, stand down! I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. Luke, you have to excuse him. He's under a lot of stress. Just got removed from a case, and the man is an acquaintance, you see.
I can't believe you're all just listening to his shit.
But I'm not taking any of my words back, because he is an utter bastard. From the way he stares at everyone in the room to what he's done with Zach, it all reeks of rot. This is Luke fucking Wright. Even after so many years, nothing has changed. He's still the same slimeball who does everything to get whatever he wants.
The thief is a friend of a cop? Now that is the start of a joke if I've ever heard one. A thief and a cop walk into a bar.
He's not a thief!
And yet we found him trespassing on my property. There are eyewitnesses, and his grubby prints are probably all over my pristine walls as he was breaking in. Face the facts, little policeman. You've made the wrong sorts of friends.
He's not a criminal!
And that is the truth, but with the way that everyone is looking at me right now, this must have been how Isabella felt when we wouldn't believe her about the letter. Just the thought of that leaves a bitter taste in my mouth.
Calm yourself, Frey! Unless you want me to throw you in a cell myself.
I understand you're upset that your friend is locked up, but the law is the law. And don't you worry, I won't be pressing charges against you. I don't know what charge, but I'm sure I can think of something if I need to. Do put a leash on your people, Chief Inspector. He might hurt himself. Being that angry can't be that good for his health.
I'm livid. Fist clenched and jaw tight. I'm nearly ready to just sock this guy good and make do on that promise of a good right hook. My frustration about it all must have been shown, because only now do I realize that the other officers have jumped in to hold me back all this time. They don't even let go of me, not until Wright and the chief are out of my sight. And it's awkward going on from there. The precinct is quiet, though the usual hustle and bustle of activity stayed. Everybody is making a concerted effort to shut their mouths about the whole scene. I wish they made the same effort to keep themselves from staring at me, though. They all want to talk about what just happened, but at the same time, they don't want to acknowledge that it did happen and refuse to make eye contact with me. I don't give any of them the chance to talk to me about it anyway, only leaving a stern order with the nearest officer.
Look out for Zach while he's locked up, will you?
That's it. I have no further business here. I have no case, no assignment, and I sure as hell am not going to stick around to see what the chief has for my bad behavior. Winding myself down, I march out of this place as quickly as possible before anything else happens. Though before I can make it back to my car, my phone rings. A quick glance at the caller ID shows Rebecca's name blinking on the screen. Without wasting any time, I answer the call. However, the tone she assumes isn't what I'm hoping to hear.
Are you there?
Ragged, a bit out of breath, there's a tinge of urgency in it. Listening to her from my side of the line makes it seem like she has just run a marathon prior to this call.
Becca, where?
I got your message. What happened?
Nothing. Well, Zach's in a bit of a tight spot right now.
Define tight spot in this context, Ash.
I'll tell you about it later. There's nothing we can do about it now. Where are you, by the way?
Home. I had to make a quick visit to the library.
Listen, Ash. That thing Isabella told us about. There's something you guys need to...
Please tell me you didn't... Whatever. Save it for later. I'll meet you there. This is related to that.
Wait, what? I don't like the sound of that, Ash, but alright, and please hurry. Gotcha, give me a few minutes. She mumbles a goodbye, then hangs up. Becca's the last person I need to account for, yet the call has left something strained in the air. Thankfully, I don't have to linger in it for too long. The drive back to Salem only takes a matter of minutes. I find her pacing in front of Isabella's room, hands clasped tightly in front of her as she treads the small space offered by the hallway. The second she looks up, apologies spill out of her mouth first.
I'm sorry, Ash. I was in a hurry.
It doesn't matter. What's important is you're here.
Not burnt to a crisp or brutally murdered somewhere. Whole, alive. Although she seems to be a bit shaken, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. At least now I can relax, ease the pressure off my shoulders, if only by some.
Anyway, let's head inside. We shouldn't be talking about this out here. You have a copy of her key, right?
We're borrowing Isabella's flat? What is this really about?
She has some files in there, also related.
She merely nods in understanding.
I hope you know what you're doing.
However, the minute she moves to fish out the key, she winces, a small reaction, but sets a precedence for how a careful observation nonetheless, Sorry, I can't read. A closer look at her reveals a much more disheveled appearance than usual. Hair is a bit of a mess, probably flattened in a hurry. The back of her dress also shows stains of dirt in places it rarely gets into. She's also leaning more on using her left arm, and she's right-handed. Perhaps the most telling is the slight limp she has once she leads me into the room. It all sprouts a hatful of questions. What exactly happened and how she ended up in that state? Pretty sure a simple trip to the library won't do that. But she never gives me a chance to bring it up. The second we're seated in the living room, she gets straight to the point and asks about Zach. Typical Rebecca.
Alright, no more suspense. What happened to Zachary?
I think what happened to you, Rebecca, is a little bit more important than what happened to Zach, even though it's kind of the same, even though Ashton doesn't know about the full extent about what happened with Zach in the jail cell with Hana, so there's really no point in him going over this, because he doesn't know anything. Anyway, this game is stupid. Moving on.
And I don't want you to mince words. Tell everything as it is.
He's been detained. The police arrested him this morning.
Arrested? Why?
She raises one of her eyebrows in question, and I quickly fill her in on what happened. From the moment I've gotten the news down to the very person at the root of this trouble. The very person he's been friendly with from the start. She falters the second I drop the scumbag's name, disbelief all over her features.
Are you sure it's him? This must be a mistake.
Yup, quite sure it's the bastard we saw at the precinct, in all his pompous glory.
What was Zachary even doing in the mansion? Breaking and entering? Are you kidding me? I know Zachary can look a bit intimidating at first glance, but he's not the kind of person who will do those things.
That's exactly what I told the geezers at the precinct, but they won't listen. Apparently they caught him in the act. Of course they won't. They're up against Wright's smug face, for fuck's sake. He's the one who has the money.
I'll talk to him.
Immediately, every thought in my head stops and I stare at her. She can't be serious.
You want to talk to Smugface, to Scumbag?
Yes, I'm sure he'll see reason. She wastes no time. Ignoring her limp, she gathers her things and stands up, ready to leave. I grab for her arm before she can walk past, carefully to avoid hurting her, in case there is really an injury. Seems like it at first glance, but you can't be sure until a careful examination has been made. I suspect some bruising, at least. Although minor internal fractures aren't out of the equation, they have a nasty way of staying hidden. But that possible injury is the least of my problems right now, not when she's likely planning a march into the Ermengarde mansion just to talk to the guy. And I have a slew of opinions about that plan. Do you really think he'll listen?
Think he'll listen to reason?
We won't know until we try, will we?
I just don't see why she thinks this is a good idea. She was at the party. She saw how the man acted when put on a damn spotlight that shines on everything negative about him.
Becca, believe me. He's not the kind of person who will. The only thing he'll listen to is the sound of his own voice.
I've spoken to the guy, Ash. He can be difficult, but he's not as unreasonable as you think. Did it ever occur to you that maybe, just maybe, this might be some sort of misunderstanding?
He just filed a case against Zach this morning.
Well, I'll make him take it back.
It's not as simple as you think. That man believes what he's doing is right.
What do you want me to do then? Just stand around and wait for some miracle that'll get Zach out of that cell?
No, I want you to leave it to me and let me handle this.
You're not the only one who can do things here, Ash. Quit playing the damn hero, you're not. You should be thankful someone's even trying to help. This is like that bloody letter again. You kept ignoring people's warnings, and now that we're probably in deep shite, you're taking it all on yourself. Why can't you be glad that people are trying to help you out?
I like how both of them have been attacked by the ghosts of the mansion, yet neither one of them has mentioned it to the other person. I'm just saying.
How? By running blindly into things? All I want is for you to be careful.
I know what I'm getting into, Ashton.
That arm injury and the limp tell a completely different story. Please tell me you did not just do something dangerous today.
It was just a trip to the library.
Why are you lying?
Besides, she caught me off guard. What, did you think I went looking for her with a book in hand? I'm not stupid, Ash.
Oh.
And I'm not just going to stand around while my friend's in jail. I won't let that bloody ghost do whatever she wants to us either. If you can't accept that, feel free to stay the way you are.
She pauses, anger briefly subsiding, then, quietly,
Just remember that she has already taken Isabella from us. You're lucky someone's still here.
You're the only one who keeps brushing all of this cursed thing off. In fact, you're the one who dismissed Isabella first. The last one feels like a slap in the face, really. Rebecca has a knack for being brutally honest with her opinions. We've often clashed at times, yet I still respect her for it. Her opinion is as valuable as every other person I've met and led into my life, and this time, she's right. I've made a huge mistake. But damn it, I'm trying.
And you didn't? Back at the movie house, you were agreeing with me.
Besides, curse or not, you should have still ran. The woman's not something you can hit with a book.
Believe me, Ashton, I did. then a bloody cart came out of nowhere. Do you have any idea how painful being hit with one is? But you know what? If it weren't for a damn book, you wouldn't be yelling at me right now. I would be dead.
A sobering silence descends in the room. Instantly, both of our anger has been tempered as the gravity of that one word hits us. Dead. How many more close calls do we have to go through? How many deaths do we have to witness? How long can we keep this up? We're bound to break at one point. No normal human being with a sane mind can last like this, losing people important to them, one by one, right in front of them. I've already lost Isabella. Although Zach's not in a better situation, he's alive. I'm not losing him and Rebecca too.
Let's leave these issues for now. There are some things, a lot of things, you need to know.
Fine then. But if this is going to be long, let me just get something for this bruise.
That marks the end of it, at least for the time being. And as soon as Rebecca returns, we get straight down to business, surprisingly easy considering the rigid air in the room. Although there's some tense fumbling for words at first, the whole conversation gains steam once what happened last night at BRC has been put on the table. All at once, everything we've brushed off, carelessly ignored, and rudely dismissed have been laid out for close scrutiny. My own encounters with the woman, Rebecca's close brushes with death every time she appears. The dread, the fear, the terror she brings out even in the bravest of us. Everything. Because no matter how bleak this all seems, there must still be a way out of this. There has to be. Logic be damned. Or at least, that's what I would like to believe. Alright, we were going to end the video off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Or don't. I don't give a shit. And I'll see you all in the next one. And, goodbye, everyone.